Tonight on News 3 New Mexico, we have the verdict from the Derek Chauvin case.
And when will we see more sunshine? Find out in my full weather forecast.
We also have the latest news on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. News 3 New Mexico starts right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Good evening and welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Landry Senna. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was found guilty yesterday on all counts for the May 2020 death of George Floyd. Following the conviction,
I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. Verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. Verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty.
following the conviction, Chauvin was handcuffed in the courtroom and taken into custody. The jury reached the verdict after about 10 hours of deliberation over the course of 2 days. The Floyd family civil legal team called it painfully earned justice for George Floyd's family and the community in Minneapolis. Judge Peter Cahill said Chauvin's sentencing will be in 8 weeks. A 30-year-old Louisiana man shot himself following an April 8th high-speed chase involving New Mexico State Police, DeBaca County Sheriff's personnel, and Santa Rosa City Police. Jock Waylon Thacker fled state police on I-40 after they attempted to stop him for speeding near Klein's Corners. According to officials, Thacker reached speeds of more than 120 miles per hour during a pursuit that covered almost 100 miles. The chase ended on US 84 near Fort Sumner after DeBaca County Sheriff Chad Roybal successfully deployed spike strips and flattened all 4 tires on the suspect's vehicle. Officers created a safe perimeter for what appeared to be a standoff, but after about an hour with no response from the vehicle, state police approached and found Thacker deceased in the driver's seat with a gunshot wound to the head. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham updated the red to green framework today. Here's a look at where the counties currently stand. As we can see, a majority of eastern New Mexico remains in the turquoise. Good job, everyone. As always, red means your county is at high risk and have the strictest guidelines in place. Only essential businesses can operate at 25% capacity. As counties see less cases and climb, the framework restrictions loosen. Yellow entails about a 33% capacity for non-essential businesses and activities, with mass gatherings limited to 10 persons. Green averages 50% and businesses and activities, with a limit of 20 persons for mass gatherings. Lastly, the least restrictive tier, turquoise. Most businesses and activities can operate at 75%, and mass gatherings are limited to 150 persons. For more details, you can visit cv.nmhealth.org. 2 former Portales daycare owners were affirmed by New Mexico's Court of Appeals Monday for reckless child abuse charges. Sandy and Mary Taylor, former owners of the Taylor Tots Daycare, were sentenced to 30 and 36 years in prison after 2 children in their care were left in a hot vehicle for almost 3 hours in July of 2017. Malia Jones, 22 months, died as a result of the incident. Aubrey Loya, then 23 months, was seriously injured but survived and has recently started public school. Officials said temperatures outside the vehicle exceeded 90 degrees. The state Supreme Court last September, in a 3-1 decision, ordered the Taylors released from prison pending appeal on their 2019 convictions. The Taylors have been free on bond since September and are expected to remain free until all appeals are exhausted. Well, Owen, it seems like this week we had a little bit warmer weather. Maybe this means we're finally getting kicked off into that spring season. However, the past 2 days have been pretty chilly. So what do you have for us on that?
Well, I can promise that we're going to see a little bit more consistency for what that counts as in New Mexico, but let's go ahead and check out the map and see what you guys can expect this week, huh? So, I got the wind map up here, as you can see. I mean, maybe not all of you are familiar with this, but we can see that we're going to have some high gusts over the course of the week here, up to about 30 miles per hour. We are also experiencing higher temperatures and lower precipitation, which does mean that currently we are at a fire weather warning, so do be aware of that. Make sure to put out all your fires, don't flick any cigarette butts anywhere where you wouldn't want them, and be careful out there, folks. Back to Landry at the desk.
The New Mexico Mortgage Finance Authority transitioned its COVID-19 housing cost assistance program to the Homeowner Assistance Program. This program is available to eligible homeowners who need help making their mortgage and real estate contract payments because of a COVID-19 related financial hardship. NMFA will make payments directly to servicers, escrow companies, and other housing providers on behalf of eligible applicants to cover mortgage and real estate contract payments. Recipients can expect as much as $1,500 per month for up to 3 consecutive months to be applied to their accounts. The assistance does not need to be repaid. Electronic applications can be found at housingnm.org. New Mexico Gas Co. wants to recover costs associated with dramatic spikes in natural gas prices over the winter. The utility said Tuesday it has filed an application with the State Public Regulation Commission. The proposal calls for spreading the recovery of the costs through December 2023 in order to minimize the effects on customers' monthly bills. If approved by regulators, the average increase for customers would be about $5.70 per month, or about 10%. Utility officials say the costs faced in February were unprecedented and the market conditions forced the company to pay higher prices. The U.S. government plans to build a new transmission line and make other upgrades to ensure its Northern New Mexico Nuclear Weapons Laboratory has enough electricity for current and future missions. Officials say one of the existing lines feeding Los Alamos National Laboratory is expected to reach capacity this summer. The other will likely hit its limit in the coming years as the lab ramps up production of key components for the nation's nuclear arsenal. The U.S. Energy Department says it will work with federal land managers to assess the project's potential environmental effects. They're asking the public to weigh in on the scope of the planned review. Stay tuned for weather with Owen after the break, but first, here's a look at today's financial markets.
Welcome back to weather, folks. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. I'm always so excited to share this with you guys. Let's go ahead and look at the current temperatures here. So we can see that we are experiencing a little bit of moderate temperature, which is actually my favorite kind of temperature here as a Southwesterner, but we're looking at 71 in Farmington, 50 in Raton, actually a little chilly there, maybe I misspoke, 54 in Clayton. Then we're looking here in the Central Mountains at 60s to 50s, 61 in Santa Fe, 68 in Albuquerque, and 56 in Santa Rosa. Then down here in the Eastern Plains, we're looking at 57 in Clovis, 56 in Portales, and Roswell is actually a little toastier than us, 62. Moving on to tonight's lows. Nothing's actually going to shift too much. I'm excited about that. We're looking at 40 in Farmington, 30 in Raton, 37 in Clayton. In these Central Mountains here, we're seeing 36 in Santa Fe, 44 in Albuquerque, and 43 in Santa Rosa. Down here in the Eastern Plains, we're seeing 43 in Clovis, 46 in Portales, and hey there, Roswell, you're 51 there. And wow, I'm just glad it's not below freezing. I'm pretty sick of waking up to ice. I don't know about you guys. Is this future lows again? What have I done? That's all right. Oh, look at this. We got a time lapse here. Folks, we're all human, right? You forgive me. So, now on to tomorrow's highs, the real exciting stuff, the thing that is live or die. We're looking at 65 in Farmington, 65 in Raton, and 68 in Clayton. Then we're seeing 68 in Santa Fe, 71 in Albuquerque, and 74 in Santa Rosa. Down here in the Eastern Plains, 74 in Clovis, 75 in Portales. Let me get out of your way there, Roswell. 80. Well, goodness me. I am just all over the place today. Maybe some of you can relate back at home. So, we're going to check out the 7-day forecast here. We're seeing in Carlsbad that it's actually going to get, wow, is that 91 on Sunday? Look forward to that, folks. Other than that, it's going to be 80 to 70s range there with some heavy winds on Friday, Monday, and Tuesday. Checking out Tucumcari, we can see that they're going to get quite a healthy helping of wind there as well, but also a fair amount of sun. And gosh, doesn't look like you guys are going to dip below 68 and you're going to stay at around 88. That's nice. Roswell, we are seeing quite a bit of wind there as well, as to be expected. Some moderate cloud coverage there on Thursday, Sunday, and Wednesday. But hey, a nice sunny Saturday. Oh my goodness. Do we not have Portales here? Well, folks, we're going to have to get to Portales after the break. But like I said, you forgive me. I've decided this.
Yes. Oh, and thank you for the weather update. It was a little bit of a shock stepping out yesterday and this morning, and it was a little bit colder. But like you said, it's nice to see a little bit more warmer, consistent weather headed our way.
Thank goodness.
Yes. Well, that is all we have for you right now. But we'll be back at the desk after this break. Last week, the CDC and FDA released a joint statement on the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine. The statement recommended a pause in the use of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine out of an abundance of caution until an investigation into rare severe blood clots is complete. They are currently reviewing data involving 6 reported U.S. cases of a rare and severe type of blood clot in individuals after receiving the J&J vaccine. All 6 cases occurred in women between the ages of 18 and 48. The statement said, "Right now, these adverse events appear to be extremely rare. People who have received the J&J vaccine who develop severe headache, abdominal pain, leg pain, or shortness of breath within 3 weeks after vaccination should contact their health care provider." This coming Friday, the CDC vaccine advisors will meet to discuss the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. We will keep you updated on this story. First Lady Jill Biden plans to visit an Albuquerque healthcare facility as part of a 3-day, 2-state visit to the U.S. Southwest this week. The White House announced that Biden will be accompanied by New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham when she visits the First Choice Community Healthcare Clinic in Albuquerque's South Valley on Wednesday afternoon. Biden will also travel to the Navajo Nation, where she'll meet Thursday with Navajo President Jonathan Nez and First Lady Cecilia Nez in Window Rock, Arizona, before delivering a radio address. She's scheduled to attend a listening session Friday with Navajo students before taking a tour of a vaccination site. 9 airports across New Mexico, including Eddy and Lincoln counties, received $1.7 million in federal grants for various improvements. According to the Carlsbad Current-Argus, Representative Yvette Harrell made the announcement and said the U.S. Department of Transportation awarded the funds to airports in the 2nd Congressional District. Sierra Blanca Regional Airport received $600,000, which is the most of any airport in the district. This will be used to reconstruct 6,300 feet for taxiway and the same amount for runway. Carlsbad Cavern City Air Terminal received $208,000, which will be used to reconstruct 5,380 feet of runway. And finally, $135,000 was secured for the Artesia Municipal Airport to reconstruct 5,700 feet of taxiway. Harrell said in a statement, "These regional airports are important to our communities, and I applaud local leaders on their successful grant applications." Representative Yvette Harrell also continued to stand against President Joe Biden's policies for energy, according to the Ruidoso News. Harrell said these policies threatened her home state more than most in the U.S. She joined a forum that was held on Friday by Republican members of the U.S. House Committee on Natural Resources. After taking office, President Biden's administration placed an executive order to temporarily pause federal oil and gas leases for environmental purposes. Harrell argued these federal administration policies could devastate local communities and the American energy industry. Due to an ongoing drought, the Lincoln National Forest in southern New Mexico is restricting campfires and other potential risks for wildfires. The Stage 1 restrictions implemented include prohibitions on campfires or other fires except in a Forest Service-provided grill or other fire structure and smoking outside buildings, enclosed vehicles, developed recreation sites, or cleared areas at least 3 feet in diameter. The criteria used to determine when to modify fire restrictions include current and predicted weather, fuel moistures, fire activity, and available firefighting resources. Well, there's a lot going on in the sports world, so stay tuned and you'll be back with Kiki after the break.
Welcome back to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Kitana Sapinga, here to keep you updated in the sports world. As announced last week, Eastern's new head football coach is Ty Hyatt. The athletic department has now announced that there will be a press conference to officially introduce Hyatt to the Eastern community. The press conference will be held on Monday, April 26th at 1 p.m. in Classroom 7 of the Greyhound Arena. Members of the ENMU community and media are invited. The event will also be live streamed should anyone else be interested in watching. The athletic department asks that any members of the media that wish to attend are to notify Nicole Holcomb via email at nicole.holcomb@enmu.edu. Last weekend was a pretty big weekend for our women's rodeo team as they won the Western Texas College Rodeo. The Hounds scored 335 points to secure the overall team win. This is the 4th time Eastern's women's team won the West Texas College Rodeo, following their wins in 2010, 2014, and 2015. Madeline Shower split second and third in the first go of goat tying with a time of 7.1 seconds. She then split first in the short go with a time of 7.4 seconds. Shacey Marr won the barrel race in both goes and the average. Her times were 17.79 seconds and 17.70 seconds. On the men's team, Trey Jackson competed in steer wrestling. He got second in the first go with 4 seconds and 5th in the short go with 5.6 seconds. Jackson is currently first in the region in steer wrestling, just ahead of Walt Arnold from Tarleton State. The rodeo team will finish out their spring season at the Tarleton State Rodeo tomorrow through Saturday. Now on to some local news. Anyone ever heard of wrestling as an outdoor sport? Well, as of Friday, April 16th, Silver High School in Silver City, New Mexico made history by having the first ever inaugural outdoor Silver High Wrestling Invitational. Other schools in the area like Centennial, Deming, Las Cruces, and Oñate took part in the tournament. Based off what some of the coaches and participants said, the invitational went well. Silver High School's head coach Luis Alvarado said, "It went pretty smooth. I wouldn't mind doing it again in the fall this coming November if we start early enough in the day and the weather cooperates." According to the New Mexico Activities Association, Athletic Director Gary Allison commented, "Coach Alvarado and myself started talking about this idea almost the day I took the athletic director position at Silver High. There are many Division I colleges that hold outdoor wrestling meets on an annual basis. We thought, why not at the high school level as well?" Following this successful event, there are more statewide outdoor wrestling tournaments scheduled, including Rio Rancho and Cleveland, which is happening tonight. At the beginning of the show, Landry covered the Derek Chauvin case. Officer Chauvin was found guilty on all accounts. After the announcement of Chauvin's arrest, the Las Vegas Raiders Twitter account published a tweet that read, "I can breathe 4/20/21. This is in relation to when George Floyd told the officers, "I can't breathe," more than 20 times before he died. The Raiders did receive some backlash for this tweet, but the owner, Mark Davis, told ESPN's Paul Gutierrez that the tweet was his idea and that he has no intention of deleting it. Davis also told ESPN that he meant no disrespect to Floyd's family and that he got inspiration from Floyd's brother, Philonise Floyd, who said after the verdict, "Today, we are able to breathe again." The reason Davis received so much backlash for the tweet is because the phrase, "I can breathe," was used by supporters of the police in New York after the death of Eric Garner in 2014. Had Davis known this, he said he would not have published the tweet. Staying on the topic of NFL, for all you football fans, you will be pleased to hear that the NFL will release its 2021 schedule on May 12th, so mark your calendars. The only details they've given out right now is that for the first time, every team will play a 17-game schedule, and each team will receive just one bye week, even with the expanded schedule. The 2021 season will officially begin on September 9th and will end on January 9th, 2022. The Pro Bowl will take place on February 6th, 2022 at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, and Super Bowl 56 will be held at the SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, California on February 13th, 2022. That wraps up all the sports updates I have, but stay tuned for one last look at weather with Owen after this break.
Well, Owen, it looks like we finally have that 7-day forecast pulled up for Portales, so why don't you tell us what we're looking at?
I pulled some string for you folks. Let's go ahead and check it out. So, Looks like it's going to be a healthy dose of wind there, 4 days, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Look forward to that. And a lot of clouds as well, but we're not going to break over 88, so it'll be nice and temperate if you ask me.
Well, that is all the news and the weather and sports that we have for you tonight. Thank you for watching, and we will see you on Friday right here on News 3 New Mexico.